Hi, everybody. It's Judy Boxner from the Literacy View. Hold on. Let me close my fridge, which is open. So I just came home from work, and shortly, Faith and I are going to be recording another episode of the Literacy View, and it's going to be amazing. But anyway, here is my problem of practice today. So in my own building, there was a lot of talk about sound walls today. And I still hear so many misconceptions about sound walls. I'm still seeing a lot of pictures of the mouths, and I know a lot of you guys have intense feelings about how the mouths help and so forth. But, I'm thinking back to the Literacy View episodes that spoke about sound walls and so forth, and I'm trying to interpret what that means for, my classrooms and my teachers. So, the other thing that I was thinking about is, I heard people saying, oh, it only has to have pictures. But as far as I understand, and what the research has been telling us is, yes, it focuses on sounds, but it also has to focus on that orthographic mapping piece, because all these latest articles, right, connecting sounds with letters as soon as possible is really, really important. So, I'm calling on everybody, our viewers, our listeners. Faith is going to send me pictures of, the most effective sound walls that she's worked with in her schools. For me, that orthographic mapping piece is so important. So I really want to see evidence of that, way more than I want to see a million lips and mouths and all of that on my walls. I definitely don't want to have complex words like fricative on there and so forth. For me, it's all about the kids and what could help my kids learn to read and write and use it. So if you all are listening right now, if you have photos of the ones that are working in your building that align with the sound wall episodes that we recorded on the Literacy View, I would love to see different pictures and so forth. I will also be reaching out to Jan to ask for pictures of an effective ones that, are aligned with the research and evidence. I feel like it's my obligation, I'm interpreting the evidence, but for me, like if I see it in action, that's going to help me because, my next task is to create them with my teachers. Now, I also wanted to hear people's feedback and also think to the research. Are any schools still using word walls, and do they feel they're using them effectively? Are any schools out there using word walls and sound walls at the same time? I'm just curious to, get a pulse on what's happening in schools that you work in or that you coach in or that you teach in. I definitely want to dig deeper into this topic. We've spoken about sound walls, I think, twice on the Literacy View, if not more. We've spoken a lot about phonemic awareness on the Literacy View. We've spoken a lot about how we should connect sounds to letters on the Literacy View. But, when it comes to conversations in the field, there's still those uncomfortable moments. And sometimes, even for me, like I'm sitting at a meeting, do you speak up? Do you not speak up? And then when I heard the mouthing again, I was like, okay, I have to speak up. But what would be really helpful for me as a practitioner that's still working in schools? Show me some sound walls that align to the research and evidence so that if I'm coaching my teachers, I make sure that I'm interpreting that research that we talked about on the Literacy View, I think 2, if not more times, and we've had tons of episodes on phonemic awareness. What does that look like in classrooms? How is it most helpful for kids? Because for me, everything I do is aligned to research. Oh my God, that was my middle finger, but that was not intentional. Trina, you just saw my middle finger. I promise that was not on purpose. And my mom is watching. Mom, that was not on purpose. But anyway, how do we align something to the research and evidence, but how do we also make it user-friendly for our kids so we don't confuse our kids? I think that, there's so many people in education that think they have all the answers, and it's like, you could be sitting at a meeting and you could almost get uncomfortable. But I don't care. I will ask those uncomfortable questions. I will tackle those uncomfortable questions. And I will not pretend to be the know-it-all, because I'm not. I'm going to go back to the researchers. But I also would love to see some people that are having a lot of success. I don't want a sound wall in my building with 1 million mouths on it, because that's not what the research was saying was best for kids. So send me some pictures, post them on the wall. And let's also get, Jan to help me. I'm going to reach out to her and say, hey, can you show me a picture of some that are really, really effective? And Faith said she's going to send me some, so I'm going to hold her accountable too. Anyway, off to recording the Literacy View at 6 o'clock. And I'll talk to everyone soon. I can't wait till we keep this discussion going. But one thing I do feel strongly about, the research said connect those sounds to those letters. So I want to make sure that my sound wall is doing that too. Bye, everyone. Stay confident during those tough conversations.